Hello friends, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and we are doing a hobby hangout that has been too long in the making. So, lots happened since the last time I streamed, lots of family-ness, lots of real life, and I am excited to once again get back to doing what I love. You know, and that's just sitting here with you guys, hanging out, doing some painting. Very happy. So, I was trying to think of a project. I did knock out a few really important projects to me. I'll talk about those in a little bit. But in addition to that, I did grab my Bonesplitterz out of the shelf. I have no hardcore plans to use these guys for anything. They are 20 Arrow Boys that I own just because they came with everything else. So that's what I'll be working on. And I'm just trying to knock them out quickly because I am clearing out my backlog, I dare say. I'm on a mission. And not 100%. I mean, I always want to have projects that I could talk about. I always have to have something going on, but I just mean, like, these guys have just been sitting here unpainted for so long. Use them or lose them. Incoming backup. Hey, Hans, how you doing? You guys, can you hear and see me okay? Music's not too loud or anything. Just let me know. Happy to adjust. Hope you both are having a wonderful day. I was supposed to go out and play Legion today, but I'm feeling a little under the weather, so decided to stay home. But I was excited to hang out with my fellow nerds regardless. So I was like, I gotta do that. This is for me. Yeah, we have our local store does a kind of like a slower league, I guess. Technically it is. It's a I think it's the first Sunday of the month they bust out Star Wars Legion that kind of takes over the store, which is cool. Revex. Hey, I got a question. What is the difference between the Chaos Realm and the Warp? Sure. Are you talking specifically about 40k then? Because they use the term Warp much more than AOS does. My understanding, and someone please if you know more about the way 40k works than me, again, mostly an AOS guy. My understanding is that the Warp is a dimension and that the Chaos Realm is a place within said dimension. That is, the Warp is sort of this like reflection of emotional energy that's in the real world. It can be accessed and tapped into. We can dip into it for travel, that kind of stuff. The Chaos Realm is that those energies have coalesced into large forms, which we would call demons or chaos gods rather. And those chaos gods make demons of their own and go on and so forth. That's how we have corn demons and stuff. But there's a lot of just like primordial energy in the Warp. And the coalescence of those places where Warp energy is dominated by a single spirit, we would call it that Chaos God's realm. But the Warp, as we know it, does not really appear in AOS. Yeah, Fantasy Battles had like the Winds of Magic that you could tap into. AOS is more like, I don't know, it's more of an arcane science, I guess, kind of a thing. It's not the best explained how they tap into it, but that's essentially my understanding, at least on a bland level. Does anyone have a correction for me? I am all ears if someone can explain the usage of those terms a little better. I'm doing my batch painting, which I have not done in quite a while, but you just pick a color And then go dude by dude, orc by orc. What do I think of the recent Dawnbringer update from Thursday? Yeah, I am somebody who, I'm going to say this. This stuff looks cool, okay? I'm not going to beat around the bush. It looks cool. I'm somebody who needs to see the whole model in context. For me, I spend more time looking at my models from like an aerial view down on the table, like just like this you are with the camera now, than I do like, you know, plucking away at the individual bits. I'm not really a conversion kit guy. So it's cool to see like the inspirations and stuff that they're taking, because that certainly shows through. But I'm more or less just kind of waiting to get excited for an entire model. Because part of it is like some of those items look cool, but if they weren't the right scale or size, or they kind of threw off the silhouette of the mini, you know what I mean? It depends on, it's not just owning the dress, it's wearing it, making it work. By the way, Happy New Year. Oh, yes, to you as well. It was, oh my gosh, it was an exhausting holiday season, y'all. I definitely took a few days off specifically to depression nap, and I'm back. What you doing today? Being sad. Cool. Family has a tendency to do that to us, in only a way that they can. What primer do you use? That color in general looks pretty good for orc skin for a base. These were... Oh, that's right. I painted these... I primed these like forever ago. Krylon is the name of the company, and they have a line of camouflage paints. If you go to a hardware store, I know Lowe's carries them here in the States. Just look for Krylon camo paint. And they come in all different colors. There's like a tan, a few different kinds of green. I recommend those because they go on, I mean, they're exceptionally matte. Like nary a light, energy cell from light escapes its grasp. So it's nice and matte. It's a nice smooth finish. And, you know, as long as what you're looking for is either black or an earthy color, like I said, tans, that kind of stuff. They don't have any reds, orange highlighters, nothing. But if that's what you need, it looks great, and it goes on great. And they messed it up, because if there's one group of people that you don't want mad at you, it's the kind of people who use camouflage paints on stuff. Just gonna throw that one out there. Painting Abaddon, gold armor now, trying to mimic his depiction in Ark of Omen promo. Oh, cool. I love it. I haven't actually looked at the promo. So I did sell off my Black Templars, and I decided in 23 I'm going to do the Astra Militarum, the Vostroyans that I got from that estate sale. Because part of it is I gave my word that I would do my best to paint them up and at least give them a good home afterwards, but put some work into them. It wasn't just about getting minis. Owns a cheap. So I'm going to work on those. But I'm waiting for the new Guard Codex, because I didn't really see anything inside the Cadia Stands box that I was like, oh, I need that. Like, no, I got enough dudes. You know, I could honestly kind of go for one of their older boxes that has like an armored division kind of a deal. Because I could definitely use some treads, but nah, nothing stood out. Here's a question for the chat. Do any of you know of a 3D printing on demand service? And if you're watching this later and you see, you know what it is, please leave in the comments, because I will see it. But essentially, I have a few things I want printed. One from an extruder, and then one from like a resin printer for minis. But let me know in the comments down below. Or the chat if you're here. Show us your rogue idol. Oh, it's all packed away right now. Otherwise I would. But I can go get it. Here, give me a second. Let me just finish up his belt. I just try, whenever I'm doing the batch painting, I always try not to walk away like mid-mini. Because inevitably I will miss something and curse myself later. All right. Let me do it again for you. Here's Pumbaa. This is my rogue idol. If you don't know, from Forge World, he comes on this big oval base. So I just took that, and instead of having him face forward, I had him face long ways. And I love him very much. He was custom made for me by Viridian Forge, who I believe I saw in the chat. Yes, I did. I absolutely adore this model. Absolutely adore it. So I'll put him here just to hang out with us. Let me finish up these guys here with the brown, and then we'll switch to a new color. Let me see. Viridian. Let me see if I can find that link again. I have a link bank saved. Rogue idol here. All right. For anyone who was interested, I just put the link to the My Mini Factory file for it. Please go support Viridian Forge. The wrong your. You self-corrected your. You are art. Art I am. But yes, that is, I won't lie, that has been a major reason that I have never felt the need to deviate from my Bonesplitterz. Is because anything else means I have to not put the Rogue Idol on the table, and it's like, if I'm not putting the Rogue Idol on the table, why am I playing Age of Sigmar? I should play Conquest. If I'm not putting the Rogue Idol on the table, I should put the Giant Fire Lizard on the table. I love their Hellfire Drake. If I'm already not doing what I want to do, let's at least do the next coolest thing. I've had a lot of people reach out and be like, "Hey, Slaves to Darkness book looks pretty cool. Aren't you regretting selling them?" I was like, "Nope, no regrets." Life motto number one, man. Message me on Facebook or Discord. I'll print one for you. Oh, I don't need one of those printed. No, this someone just asked for it. No, what I need printed is some movement trays and stuff like that for Conquest. Sorry, that my thing was a non sequitur, and then someone asked to see the the file, or the bore rather. Ah. Maybe one day figure out Cruel Boy's Rogue Idol. Any Swamp Golem could be cool. That's a neat idea. For me, I mean, at the time, largely it still is true that some of the best units that Bonesplitterz have access to are riding pigs, and I just did not like. I mean, I've owned it before. It's not like it's like an abominable model, and I hate it all like the traditional Rogue Idol. I just felt like I wanted, it's such a centerpiece unit that if it doesn't feel like it quote unquote fits with your army, it stinks. Centerpiece models always need to be like the glue that binds rather than a distraction when it comes to the aesthetic, in my opinion. This is just an opinion. I am a printing service in Memphis. Oh, okay. Okay. I have a family out there. Okay. I got you saved. I'll reach out to you after this. But thank you. I am reliable to pay with cash and happy to share a review after payment and everything is done if you would like one. Mainly because it's an industry that I don't know a dang thing about, so I don't know. People have tried very hard to get me into 3D printing. I'm like, just think about the potential of, given what I do. If I wanted to print a lot of stuff, it could be very beneficial to me to like constantly be doing paint tutorials or whatever, not having to wait on minis, or it would certainly unlock a lot of hobby projects. And every single time I look at a 3D printer, I'm just like, or no. I feel as though it's probably like a second hobby. Like you need to know how to fix it if you don't want to get stressed out or whatever. And my second hobby to wargaming is YouTube, and I am content. It's okay to be like, you know what? I'm winning in this lane. I'm going to stay over here. I am printing FWW. Oh, Fallout. Is it Fallout Wasteland Warfare? I had to think, man, my brain is garbage right now. Holidays got me. I legitimately, when you texted that, I was like, I'm really into Well, I don't know what they're getting at an ATM with fufufwa, but by golly, I hope they're having fun. I'm doing great. Holidays were great. I don't know why you would ask. So, today we are finishing up. Hopefully, that's all the brown parts. We'll go back. I have 2 more colors that everybody has, which is sort of like a tan. I'm actually going to do XV88 just to have a different kind of cloth color. Everyone's going to have a little bit of that, and then I will do the stone is what I wanted to do next. So we'll just get those done. Let's grab a sharper brush. Got my mixing brush. the game. So my thing with it was a combination of finding local players, but then also the bloat of cards and stuff like that. It just got to be a lot to take care of and keep track of. I know they have an app that makes it a lot easier, but it just got to be a lot for me. Whereas I wish that there was not a Warcry version of it, but just a simplified, like a format that was like, hey, these are your core cards, your core upgrades. You know, this is a solid format to play in without thinking that it's going to be overwhelming or whatever. I don't know. I felt like it was very just jump in the deep end, which is awesome if it's the only game you do. But for me, I have so many games, man. I can't do that. But I owned it for quite a while, painted a bunch of the stuff, and I do like it. And that's what made it difficult. I felt that Skyrim, the what is it? Call to Arms, that's what it is. Was maybe a better pass at that design system. Not because there was anything like particularly stellar about it, but it was a little bit more reined in. And I think that's why it clicked a little bit more with me in particular. But I love the sheer amount of ridiculousness you can get into with the Wasteland Warfare. You can like build an entire settlement down to the details of what buildings are there. I mean, there's just a lot. All the best for 2023. Hey, thank you. I do like it. There's a event for Wasteland Warfare in Adepticon that I was like, I could pop into that if I got some time. That sounds kind of fun. And then what else? Oh yeah. Here's a special announcement just for this chat when it comes to Age of Sigmar. So I put a video out that says I'm running my first event. And I was really nervous about, if you don't know, if you didn't see the video, it's totally cool. Basically, I am co-running the Youngbloods event, which is kids 14 and under at Adepticon for Age of Sigmar. It's the last day, a Sunday, and it's just a 1,000 point 3-round event. So it's a quickie, right? From 9, I think, a.m., 9 or 9:30 to 4:30, and that's like with awards and everything, so get you in, get you out. And I was very nervous because I've never run an event before, and I think people forget that like I'm a person. I have like social anxiety and stuff, and so I was very nervous about it. And so I reached out to my local gaming group and really just explained the situation. I was like, listen, I'm doing this because I want to do it. I love working with kids. I did it for a long time. So it's not a fear of like, babysitting or whatever. It's just I don't want anyone to have a bad time. Help me be a TO. And so they agreed to basically run the event with me at a local store. First run game. So yeah, if you are in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa area on February 4th, I will be doing and hosting a 1,000 point 3-round single day tournament. That should hopefully be a ton of fun. I'll have an army just in case, but I don't know. I put the call out, and like people from the general 3-hour radius of Cedar Rapids have really responded. And we're like, hey, you didn't think that there was anyone in Iowa who played this game? You're wrong, nerd. It made me happy. And actually just how easy it all has been so far. Unless something goes terribly wrong, I really am looking forward to running events. I think that could be a very cool thing, because I'm not a player. I don't keep up on everything. I would actually be much more comfortable as like, I guess, GM or event runner. I just want to make sure everybody has fun. And yeah. And I'm in a good place apparently, because apparently the way the Midwest works is they just do whatever kind of events each individual person wants, as opposed to standardized stuff. Dang, I'm so far behind. Sorry, bud. Life. But if you're running events, I'll fit out and get one. Let me get past this one here. Give me a few demos. Let me get practiced. I mean, eventually, like, with the kinds of games that I do play, I do want to host large things eventually. It would be incredible to have, the 2+ open. Why not? But I mean, just in the games that I personally enjoy and could go to an event for, I've got Conquest, AOS, Warcry. Once I get a bunch of minis painted, I'm going to start playing Space Station Zero. The holidays derailed everything, as they are wont to do, but I just finished building most of my models from the game Warcaster, which I have no intention of playing, but I got them on Uber sale, and so I snagged them up to use for Space Station Zero, and I think they're going to be cool. Hey man, I made it. Neat. Big fan of the lore stuff. Thanks for posting the vids. Good stuff. Hey, Captain Spaceman 1, thank you. Let me ask you a question. What videos do you like? Are you here for? Are you here for Conquest, AOS? What's up? I always just like to know what people are into. Also, if I have any viewers of The Emperor Protects, give a shout out. What's everybody working on? Obviously, you can see that I got my Bonesplitterz out, it feels nice, actually. It's been a long time. I do want to build one more 10-man squad of Arrow Boys, because I want to have 3 units of 10. Arrow Boys are something I want them to work. I really do. Not in the way that they did when they first launched and they were like oppressive, because they were. It was gross. If you don't know how, I'll explain in a second, but basically they just don't do anything terribly interesting right now. They don't have the number of shots, and what you trade to get those shots if you go with their sub-faction is massive compared to the other sub-factions, what you're giving up. Let's see. Gluing together Night Haunt right now. Still deciding on which procession scheme to go with. Ooh, which ones are you torn between? Or I guess it doesn't have to be an equal tie. I think if a Night Haunt army landed on my lap out of the heavens itself, and I had to decide what scheme to make it, I think that I would go Quicksilver Dead. I'm just trying to think through my head of all the other schemes, and they're pretty baller. I mean, it could change. That's also the sub-faction that I most recently did a Night Hunt video on. I'm sure it'll change with the next video I do, because that's how Doug do. But for now, as of this time-stamped recording, let's see, Air Boys, get any of those. Don't rush. Don't prioritize it in any way. See if there's anything on eBay if you're curious, or just play test. The thing is, the idea is a whole bunch of very inaccurate shots, but the way that has been expressed in game terms has changed a lot since AOS launched. These dudes were one of the first to get a battle tome, and they were just glorious, man. They had a battalion back when factions had individual sub-faction battalions in the good old days. I say that facetiously, I'm sorry. Basically, there was one called the Cunning Ruck, where it would allow you to pick a unit in that ruck, meaning the battalion, and they could shoot in the hero phase with all the extra rules and whatever that means. Well, if you got a unit of 30 arrow boys, they would shoot 90 shots, because they would be 3 shots each depending on the size of the unit. So you let them shoot in the hero phase, and then let's say you had another 1 to 2 of those units in that battalion, which was not unreasonable. Now you're looking at 90, 180 to 270 shots. 1 full volley in the hero phase, 2 full volleys in the shooting phase. And there's a whole bunch of things because rules carry over. They were re-rolling hit rolls of 1 and whatever, like 6s can explode. I don't know if that one was introduced yet. But that kind of stuff, those, like, no, what you roll matters. And it was a catastrophe. And multiple times I did have people say, like, oh, I'm not going to play against that, like, to me and my army. And I was like, but I'm not taking that, man. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to. Like, but I don't have the Cunning Ruck. But you still have arrow boys. Well, yeah. I also only have, like, 6 war scrolls, so I don't know what you expect. I have 6 war scrolls, so I didn't take the 1 battalion that makes them competitive. I don't know. Help. Mm-hmm. Working on reorganizing my hobby space. Dude, I did that the other day. That was a vital part of my cleansing myself of the holidays. Washing off the holiday spirit was just like, my room was a storage space. I need it back. Let's get it organized. I threw a bunch of stuff up on eBay. I got it together. I decided I needed to do that before I could record, just because it was, when you're sitting in clutter, it gets real stressful. I have a great deal of anxiety issues and stuff like that. Oh, here's a fun fact. I gave a speech to a high school this week, courtesy of my buddy, Professor, I'm going to call him, Kelly. Essentially, he was teaching like an extra or advanced placement thing for his high school class, and it was kind of like an AV journalism department type deal. And the class's goal at the end of, I guess, the season or semester. It wasn't really a semester because it was kind of a bolt-on thing. But at the end of the course, they're going to have like a 5 or something piece podcast, and then it's going to be on the school's page. And so it's a way to like link back and show cool things they've been working on. One of the teachers helping is like the journalism major or journalism teacher for the school. I don't know, it's cool. So they invited me to come out and just talk about what it means to be a YouTuber. And I'm not gonna lie, I have not been in a room with that many people since COVID, and it was very stressful. And the kids were awesome. They were quiet. They were just high school kids. But it was a super fun time. Let's see, ordered too many minis last year. So I came back around to my 1,000 Suns. Nice. I feel like eventually I will probably have 1,000 Suns army. They're so pretty. But they don't have a... Like, one of the things I'm excited about with this guard, and what I was excited about too with the Black Templars, it just guard has more of them, was just like aesthetically different options, like more flyers, more, tanks, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff matters to me. I was very excited to jump in with all of that. Just finished collecting my 1,000 Suns. Nice. Wait, what happened to Warhammer community Twitter? Oh, I don't know. I got off Twitter a while ago. Once the big E took over, I was like, I didn't delete my account or anything. It's still there. I was just kind of wanted to see how things shake out. My years of content creation has generally shown me that it's best for my mental health if I just back up and let things pan out on their own for a while here and there. That's not commentary, it's just from a business sense, it has not proven to be a platform worth investing my time into. And with the holidays slowing me down, I'd much rather just make videos. But if you are a hobbyist who has and you share your account and stuff like that on Twitter, I still wish you the best. Ah. Almost done with the tan. Then we start moving into the fun colors, because after tan it comes into the stone. I like when the rocks start to pop off the green. And then we get into the wild colors. Arrow tips have like blue, yellows, reds, and then obviously the red tattoos and stuff. I don't know why that was so hard to remember. Tattoos is a word that I'm familiar with, everybody. But it sure seems like everybody's got a handful of projects. Holy smokes. For me, I'm at a point right now where I have one army per game that I play. However, that is going to change soon because whenever Parabellum drops the rules for the second edition of Conquest, I'm going to be dropping and getting a Nord's army. So, very excited about that. I like my Dwagom, and I have no intention of getting rid of them as of yet, but the thing with them is they don't have a lot of unit variety in terms of, like, they're a very infantry heavy force, which dwarves generally are. That's on me, I knew that. But I was kind of looking for some of the monsters and stuff, and the Nords tend to have quite a few of them. And I do like the new city-state stuff. I just don't want to jump into a faction that's brand new, because then I have to wait. And, like they have your initial releases, and then it just kind of sits on ice for a bit. And that doesn't work for me. Patience? No, blah, 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 blah. I use all my patience when it comes to business practices and dealing with people. When it comes to my nerd hobby stuff. Instant gratification, all the way. But yes, this coming Saturday, I'm getting a game in, 1,000 point game in with one of the people who's come into the event. He wanted to test out his list. I said, okay, cool, let's do it. And then actually I had someone reach out to me, and this is something cool I'll share. A local gentleman is working on his own like tournament running event software for minigames, totally free. I think it's called Nerd Herder, which I love. That's such a great name. But it's an alternative to BCP, which kind of dominates the market. And it's really cool. It's been kind of designed around a lot of Asmodeus games. Is that what his company is? Star Wars Legion, Crisis Protocol, those kinds of games. Right, it's Asmodee, I think, yeah. But adding in some new features for us to get that going. We'll see how it goes. It's, you know, it's the kind of thing I'm happy to test for when I'm doing a test event. It's not going to necessarily change all my plans for Adepticon or anything like that, but it's an interesting idea. I could see it being very easily frustrating for software developers who do tournament software, because the only time anybody needs it to work is when it already needs to work, and having an accident is unacceptable. So you get very few playtest periods. So if the event is already a playtest, well, it seems like a pretty darn good place to get it out. Try it out there. Okay, looks like a few things, or a few people have popped into chat since I last saw. Let me get this one section here done, and I will give some time at the chat as we switch colors, because now we're going to stone. I told everyone locally my favorite kind of event, and I'm still going to run it at Christmas because I think people will love it. And there was enough people who showed interest, so it's not like I got shut down or anything like that. But my favorite event that I went to was in Mock's Boarding House of Seattle, and it was like right after Christmas. And the guy had quote unquote gifts from Krampus and Santa, and so he gave you 3 cards that were essentially like those hard plastic Magic the Gathering card cases. There's 3 of those wrapped in paper. And the rule is, at the start of your hero phase, you can choose to unwrap any number of those cards, but the effects persist the rest of the battle. And so some of them were stuff like, you know, your hero gets pick a hero, get +1 attack to them, or your general gets +2 to their rend, or, you know, just basically he took Realmscape artifacts and threw them in there, which was cool. And then others were detrimental, of course, but never anything crazy. And the players who didn't like the idea, they could just keep doing their own thing. You don't have to use them, and it's a perfectly straight game of AOS otherwise. But I just thought that was the most fun thing. I hoarded... Oh, actually, that's not true. I hoarded all the cards after the event. Like, I wanted everyone's copies to see what they got. It made me very happy. And I used mine every single round. Like, at the start of the first hero phase, boom, what do we got? I want to know what the stakes are so I can compensate and or adjust if I need to. Oh, man. Lord Larrick, what do you think of the new Cities of Sigmar stuff? I find the Cult of the Wheels to be completely ridiculous. I mean, yes, I agree. Also, I come to Warhammer for ridiculousness. I think the ship has sailed on Games Workshop producing sensible miniatures for intelligent wars. Because if that were true, we would all just be playing, I don't know, nukes that fall from the sky or something. It's all ridiculous. Make sure I get this built. Sean Blake, hey. Hey, Doug, just joined the stream. Lots of Orc Archers for you. Nice, yes. Yeah, I'm just cleaning out my closet. Carl, hey, I like your palettes. Do you prefer dry palettes to wet? I do, and this palette, if you'll notice, is not my normal plastic wad that has like 8 years of paint on it. It is, in fact, a new one, and it was a gift from my mother-in-law, and I like it very much. Basically, it has like a triple wax coat of junk on it, and so it's very easy to get the paint off, which is nice given how messy I am with my paints. And I started using a lot more paints in water bottles as I am slowly shifting my base color paints from Games Workshop to Pro Acrylic by Monumental Hobbies, because I love their paints. I just discovered them recently. My buddy Rob locally, as part of a Christmas present. It was very sweet. He bought me 3. It was no. He bought me 1. It was white, but at the same time, I was like, well, if I'm trying them out, let's try it all out. And I grabbed the dark silver and the light silver, and I really do like them. But yes, it came with this cup matching this, and then there's this little thing up here that holds brushes, but I go through brushes pretty quickly as I'm adjusting size and stuff, so I don't really make much use of it. But it is nice when stuff's rolling around. Playing my night, I'm torn between the look of Emerald Host, I don't have a green army yet, and the lore of the Blood Ghost. Oh, Scarlet Doom. Yes. Those are certainly 2 of the coolest. Okay. I normally don't give opinions on what I would do, but I'm going to throw it out there because you're talking to me. And for me, if you don't have a green army and you're looking, like if you're someone who wants to learn how to paint all the different colors, that's a great place to do it. Just because, depending on how you build the Night Haunt, they don't have to have a ton of dudes. You could play around, get some painting under your belt, and it doesn't feel repetitive. But that's a good, I mean, that's generally how I look at projects. I mean, like I was joking about, I've joked to my friends recently that I am on my 3rd divorce from Stormcast, meaning I've already built and painted 3 of their armies and then immediately traded them out because I'm Doug. And was having the discussion of like, yeah, you know, there's just some factions that I'm just super happy to go back to, and all that matters is just choosing a new color scheme. And if you got something in mind, man, do it. That's why all my different Stormcasts have always been different colors. I shall give all of my flagellants wheels around their neck. It kind of makes flagellants sound like the little green Martian guys from Toy Story with the claw. Ooh, the wheel. Forgive me, I'm just trying to be a little more delicate here at these finer details so I don't get anything all gunked up. You can tell I'm really focusing because of my inability to put words together. Sounds like good advice, Doug. I'm leaning towards Emerald Host for that reason. I painted a lot of red for my vampire. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Plus it looks cool if you ever ally them in to have them like, if they're based the same as the vampires, but they have a different scheme, it just makes the color pop. Let's see. I have a thing for all the ring of my armies. Oh, all the theming of your armies. Yeah, I mean, I did that for a while. I think in the opening seasons of AOS, I did a lot of stuff from Gur. And now that we're in Gur, I love it. I need to do a dedicated video on the different sub-regions that we've seen so far within Gur. I think that would be a good idea. But it is still my favorite realm. The next one being Chaman, just because of all the ridiculous, like, just truly out there fantastical stuff. It has always been very cool to me. But I also understood that, like, when the game launched, I just don't think the audience was ready for that. They're like, where's my Warhammer Fantasy Battle? And GW was like, you're gonna walk up this river of liquid, living silver and fight a dragon that's as tall as 10 towers and you're gonna like it. Please, sir, I just want Bretonnian Knights. Dive in this volcano now, boy. That's my summation of Games Workshop's release of Age of Sigmar. Cyber Dude, hey hey. new soulbound book about Gur. Oh, I'm gonna get that. Yes, I will. That sounds like an investment opportunity. I'm actually this evening we're doing turn 0, or round 0. But my brother and I are doing Pathfinder along with Jess, my wife, and Jessica, his fiance, and I'm very excited to jump into that. I'm doing a human. I'm going with Ranger. I'm trying to look up something that's like a scout. Don't have a lot to go with here, but essentially the backstory area that we were given to fill was basically there's an island that's largely unexplored except for a single meager fort that's there. Why is your character there? And so the reason that I came up with for my character motivation is that basically it is an unexplored land and people will pay very good money for maps of territories and secrets about where treasure's hidden and the choicest spots, so to speak, of a new region. And so he is essentially a scout cartographer going out into the wilds to be like, I'm gonna map all this for profit and coin. Not evil inherently, but also not particularly friendly. All right, what do we got next? Yrden. Wee bit of red, and I think that'll bring us to the end. I've been doing it for about an hour. Usually go about an hour and a half or so before my voice starts getting coarse, and I already recorded 2 videos today, so I'm a little out of it. This week we have a few things coming out, in case you're curious to know what's coming up on 2+ stuff. A lore video on Arcanaut Admirals because of the Games Workshop store anniversary model where he's holding his own ship. That was all the inspiration I needed. I have another video on some fan content from a patron over on Patreon who basically sent me their Seraphon lore, and I thought it would be a great example of how people can build lore from story leads that exist in campaign supplements and stuff. Okay, so I got those. Thing with an arrow. I'm grabbing all the dudes who need some red. Okay. It's basically like Lewis and Clark. Have you considered getting a second Road Eagle? Probably not super competitive, but might be good for smashing, mixed with boosted spellcasting. I haven't really. I have considered taking the Incarnate of Gur. It's an equally big, ugly Mamma Jamma monster that poses different threats, and that's what I like about the 2 of those together in theory. I have not tried it. But, like, with the Incarnate of Gur, you want to attack them differently, and you want to attack them both early. Okay, I'm just getting all the top knots. I mean, but to answer your question, I've thought about running all boars. If they gave that a battle line if statement, I would just have a list called the Pumbaa Pack, and that's all that I would do. And I would fit my entire collection into basically a shoebox. and I'd be the happiest man ever. And never win a single event. Bonesplitterz themed incarnate. You know, I didn't. So I had the one that Games Workshop sent me, and I couldn't think of a theme. Like even when I wanted to do boars, I was like, well, I'm not sure if I want the. What is it? The incarnate to be boar themed in addition to the rogue idol. Like I want them to be different, but I couldn't decide on how. What do you guys think? Anyone got a really cool Bonesplitterz themed incarnate? Well, you know, I have one, but if they come out with a unit that I want them to, it'll be irrelevant. But we could make it the wereboar. If you're unfamiliar in Bonesplitterz, their spell lore, it used to be a myth or whatever that was kind of written into their little backstory of their book, where they believed in a creature called the wereboar that could come curse them, and so certain Bonesplitterz would go mad. And now it's a spell, is my point at that. But it's just kind of a fun idea. If they made it a wereboar, I would be into it. What are your thoughts on the new... Oh, maybe a mask like the Prophet. Oh, that could be a very compelling idea. Because it has to bind with somebody, and it would make sense to take on some of the characteristics. I could get into that. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we'll hobby some as well. Time to put some long-awaited Dominion models together. Yeah, dude. That's my thing. I've had these guys sitting around for forever, it seems like, and it was one of those things, like, I have all the stuff that I want for my Bonesplitterz. I don't really need to add much. I mean, I guess I could add some big stabbas, as was popular recently, but, like, I don't really care. So, I don't have any massive plans to do that. And so I was kind of sitting around for a long time, like, I want to, like, do hobby... Sorry, one second. Just realized I kept pulling away from the mic while talking. You know, I want to do hobby hangouts with my Bonesplitterz and do AOS stuff, but it's just like, my God, I just don't have anything that I want. It's like, well, let's just bust out what we own and we'll see how that goes. Bonesplitterz definitely need wereboar. Yeah, so I'm looking at this guy, right? This is one of the Bonesplitterz that came in the Warhammer Underworlds box. He was just in my box of random stuff, and I'm going to finish painting him. But he is on a 40 mil base with dual claws like Wolverine. And if they created a unit of these, and one of them, like the leader, had like a leather boar mask or something, that's amazing. That's all they need. You know, I mean, design-wise, they don't have to be these immaculate things, like... But yes, those are absolutely the wereboars that I'm looking for. What if you used wereboars as big stabbas, like one big wereboar with a spear instead of 2 lads carrying it. Oh, that would be freaking brutal. That would be really cool. Oh, and then I could put together a little horror movie like motif type thing. Curse of the Wereball. Like I don't know. I don't know why the first thing that came to my mind was the South Park, the movie, when they fight the Ward candidate today in the war. You're done. Sweet. Orc Bear Pig. Curse of the Werebore horror movie backdrop. Yes. I have a ton of the old privateer boars called Pharaoh. Robin, I won't lie to you. I desperately wish that Privateer Press would sell the rights to their game or something so somebody else could make it. That is, if I had to pick a faction that I liked more than any other, relative to its game, the Pharaoh are mine. Because there is a what do they call it? Not ballet. What am I thinking? Opera singer named Helga, who is a giant boar that's just screaming and bellowing. They have the man threshers, like the meat thresher machines that like boars are riding and they charge at you. It's such a great design. But I just can't, man. I can't with Privateer Press buy in. It's all. I mean, none of it works for the game anyway right now. So. Okay. Got fur. Yep, huge box of fun. Yes, yep. All right, friends, I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the day because all this stuff needs to dry, all the arrow tips, everything. We're going to put a light brown wash on, so just kind of fill in some of the details. And then we'll go back over and add tattoos, highlight the green with a few different greens, and then just do the basing. And then these guys are just about ready to go. So that's the beauty of the Bonesplitterz. When 90% of you is green, it gets real easy to be green, despite what Kermit would tell you. So, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's good to be back. I missed you guys. I did. I missed my life. I'm ready to get back to it. And we got some fun content coming up here, and I really do hope that you enjoy yourself. So have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy wargaming.